So this is my mobile game Roller Rush, and this video is about how one bug ruined the global leaderboard, as well as some other cool stuff I added to the game. If you don't know what Roller Rush is, it's a mobile game I'm working on about rolling as far as possible with your Rollo. And because this game is about achieving the highest score, a global leaderboard is essential to have. That's why I added the Google Play Games SDK to the game for Android. This allowed me to quickly set up a working leaderboard, but there's one issue. I can't delete any scores. Now you're probably wondering, why do you want to delete scores so you can always be number one? No, the reason is that if someone discovers a bug, they can just exploit it and get to the top of the leaderboard. And that's exactly what happened. A few months after I implemented the leaderboard, I started seeing some pretty impressive scores popping up. Someone got 14,000, 17,000 and 22,000. And I wondered like, how is that possible? Then someone sent me this video where apparently if you move very quickly into the side of the ground, you absolutely skyrocket into the air, which of course makes it really easy to get a good score. So I tried fixing this bug, which I could not figure out to do, so what I did instead was adding an invisible ceiling, so when you reach a certain height, you just fall down again. Wow, that's such a good bug fix. This obviously isn't that bad of a bug, but then it got worse. The same guy that found that bug noticed something was up with the leaderboard. Someone had gotten a score over 1 million. And apparently he knew the guy who got the score, and he asked me if I wanted to know who it was. Of course I wanted to, so I asked, who is it? It's me.
Oh my god! Boing.
As you can see, if you move quickly into the side of the ground, you can get stuck. And when you finally get out, the in-game physics don't know how to handle it, and it just sends you flying at the speed of light. So I tried fixing this bug as well, which I could not figure out to do. So instead, I made it check if you go impossibly fast, and if you do, you just die. Wow, that's such a good bug fix. Now, it'd be nice if I could just remove the score, but I can't. So what do? Well, now that all these scores were uploaded before the bug fixes, I can't be sure who cheated or who didn't, and the score should obviously not be here. What I decided to do was to just create a new leaderboard and start from scratch. So now everyone's entry on the leaderboard should be legit, but of course this leaderboard only works for Android, so you might be wondering, where's the leaderboard for iPhones? To make a leaderboard for iPhones, you typically use Game Center, but the thing is, this only works for iPhones, and Google Play Games only works for Android. This means we have to create 2 separate leaderboards on each platform. Wouldn't it be better if we had a single leaderboard that works for both platforms? That's when I discovered something even better than both of these two. Unity has created their own leaderboard system, which is cross-platform, and you can delete scores. For this I had to make my own UI, so I made this window with fields where the entries can be displayed, but when you create an account it generates a random username for you. Apparently I'm a humble bursting bison. I want you to be able to create your own names, so I made this other window where you can write your name, and I also let you display the country you're from. So this is how it looks when the fields are filled out. Now this is of course not the only thing I added since the last video. I also added some new rollos. I got this comment asking for a hedgehog rollo, which is a good idea, but as you may know from my first devlog, a lot of people said that the game looked like a Sonic ripoff, but I mean, as long as it's not blue, it won't look like Sonic. So I created this cute hedgehog rollo and named it Snufflin. Add a blue variant. You know what? I don't care. I made it in blue as well, and to be honest, you can't tell me this looks like Sonic. Sega, you can't sue me. Snufflin the Hedgehog has nothing to do with Sonic the Hedgehog. Okay, maybe a little bit, but next rollo. The next rollo I created was a pufferfish with a both blue, red and grey variant. And this one does actually not look like it's copied from a popular game. But forget this, because I made something even cooler. Special variants. This is variants that you cannot buy, but only win in a minigame. And what minigame, you might ask? My plan is to create a Plinko type minigame similar to what they have in another mobile game called Sling Kong. In this game, you launch your character into a field filled with bouncing pegs before eventually landing on a random prize. So to make this, I started setting up a play area and set up some simple cylinders to test out the layout for the Plinko. Now we just need to find the right amount of bounciness for the pegs. And this is way too much. Yo! Oh no, no! We should probably lower the bounciness and force it to stay inside the play area. Yeah, this is much better. The next big question is where this plinko should be placed and like what theme it should have. My first idea was to place it near the starting place, but I just can't see where to put this without it looking out of place. Instead, it should probably be in another environment. So, what if it's underground? To start off, I added this brick wall texture. I then modded this giant outer wall with room for the plinko in the middle and imported it to the game. It's already starting to look like something, but to actually make it look like it's underground, I turned off the daylight and added a lot of small dimmed lights. The next thing that needs to be changed are the bounty pegs, because they do not look very bounty right now. Instead, I think this should look like those inflated obstacles, because they sure are bounty. I replaced the cylinders with these blue inflatable pegs, and as you see, they still don't look bounty. What we can do here is to add a small bounty animation to them, which will play when it gets hit. Now the major question is, what should the prices be? In a plinko game there's a slot for each price, and I want to make 4 slots, so 4 prices. The first 3 are 50 coins, 100 coins and 200 coins in random order. And the last prize is gonna be a random variant of the rollos you own. And this is where the special rollos come in, because the random variant will change each day, and there's a 15% chance of it being a special variant, which you can only get in this minigame, but I'll come back to those later. I made these 4 slots at the bottom where the prices will be. And when you landed one of them, I made it extra satisfying by making it slow-mo and adding some confetti. There's still one thing missing though, and that is how you start the game. In the main game, you get launched by a springboard. So to tie everything together, I think we should use the springboard here as well. So I brought in the springboard and the rollo. Now we have a start screen where your rollo is standing in the front and the prices are in the back. And when you click launch, it gets launched into the plinko. Actually, there's one more thing. How on earth do you go from this place to being down in this place? Well, what if the springboard could also be used to lower you down to the underground plinko?
Nice.
Anyways, as I mentioned earlier, we need some special variants. These are like variants, but cooler. So for the main character Radkin, I made a golden version. But they shouldn't just all be golden. So for Pippin, I made a galaxy variant, similar to that Fortnite skin, you know? For Gelatin, I wanted to make some kind of neon look. So I made this neon gradient, made it scroll and then affect the stripes of it, giving it this cool neon effect. And for the fish Floppin, I wanted to make a rainbow fish, so I drew this rainbow texture and made it scroll around its body. From rainbows to fire, because for Boston I want to set it on fire. Just kidding, I'll make a cool fire effect, because fire is cool, you know. Here I drew this fire texture, and to make it look like moving fire, I made it distort the texture. The last special variant I made was for Spookin. I was running out of cool effect ideas, so I decided to make it holographic. So that's the special variants I made for now, but I'm definitely gonna make more in the future. So if you have some cool ideas, let me know. The last thing I added was new power-ups. As you may know, the power-ups are inspired by fruit. We got Macmelon that attracts coins, Boomberry, which you can throw and will explode all nearby obstacles, Jump Plum that just makes you bounce, and Bowler Nut that doubles your size and allows you to knock over obstacles like they're bowling pins. What I wanted to add was a shield power-up, so something that'll protect you from obstacles, but only once, of course. I started wondering what fruit would fit this. A watermelon has a hard shell which could be used as a shield, but we already have a watermelon power-up. Instead, another fruit that also has a shell is a lychee. My idea here is that when you activate a power-up, the red spiky shell grows around you, so now you're rolling with a lychee shell around you. This only protects you once though, so when you roll into an obstacle it breaks. If you roll into a wall, however, you just die. It's not that powerful. The next power-up I added is pretty simple. It makes every coin count as 2. With this power-up, I thought it could be a cherry that looks like 2 coins, and I named it Double Cherry. That's pretty much it for this devlog. As always, Roll Rush is available on both Android and iPhone, so feel free to download it.